Hi, I'm Lori McClure with Pivot Realty, and today I am talking to Justin Otto. I'm pronouncing that right, correct?
Yes,
Otto,
Justin
okay.
Otto, like
Okay.
automobile, right?
Okay. And I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself. And he's a leader in our community, in the Newport community. And I just wanted to have a conversation with him and sit down and talk about um, how he's feeling about Newport and what everything that's going on at Newport at the Levee. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Justin.
Hi, I'm Lori. Thank you for having me. My name is Justin Otto. I'm the general manager for Newport on the Levee, and Newport on the Levee is owned and operated by North American Properties, which is a local company in Cincinnati.
Awesome. How long have you been working there?
Oh, so my story goes back. This is so crazy, but my first job out of college in 2005 was with Newport on the Levee. So when I started here,
Wow.
my position was called Operations and Events Manager. My schedule was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I was off Tuesday and Wednesday. I
Oh,
did
wow.
that for freaking 6 years,
Wow.
unbelievably. Um, but it was great experience for me, and it was really exciting because as a new graduate, I was put in a position where the levee was, at the time it was fairly new. It was built in 2001, so it was only 4 years old, and it was the spot in Cincinnati to go. I don't know if you remember Jeff Ruby's Tropicana,
Yep.
Jefferson Hall, Pacific Moon, Claude Irish Pub, Brothers Bar and Grill, which is still here, Funny Bone Comedy Club, Shadowbox
Yes.
Cabaret, the
Yeah.
movies. I mean, it was the spot to go on the weekends. It was Bachelor, Bachelorette Central on Friday and Saturday night. So when I was here, I essentially was the representative of the ownership group. I managed the property on the weekends, and the weekends, we think of the weekends as our game day, right? It's when
Right.
most people come to the levee. It's when we're busiest. So when things went really well, I got to take credit for that. And when things went horribly wrong or something really bad happened, I was baptized by fire and got the experience of working through those difficult situations.
Wow. Yeah. That's that sounds kind of heavy. Being, I mean, the highs are highs, and I'm sure the lows are lows, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hills and valleys, and I did that for, like I said, 6 years. I left in 2011. I went to Miami University of Ohio and got my MBA. It was a full-time accelerated program, and after that, I worked for the largest real estate investment trust in the world, Simon Property Group. So I worked for
Okay.
them, which they manage shopping centers and malls and mixed-use destinations, and I did that for a few years before working for a small development company in Colorado, and before making my way back to Kentucky. And a mentor of mine, his name was Barney Estes. Barney, oh, I can't say enough good things about Barney. He's a mentor and just a really awesome guy. Had been promoted to general manager of Newport on the Levee, and he asked me to come back as assistant GM in 2018. And that's when I came back. I was here for about 3 weeks and then realized that we were going to go through the due diligence process to be acquired by North American Properties, which again, wow, talk about great experience of working through that, going through the due diligence and then the acquisition and now the redevelopment.
Yeah, I'm like so excited about everything that's happening there. Um, I feel like people are always talking about it. Before we get into all of that, what do you think has surprised you most about the job that you have now?
Well, I think, I don't know if surprise is the right word. I mean, this last year has been filled with surprises, whether it's the pandemic or social unrest or just everything that's happened in our community. And for me, listen, I'm a Campbell County guy. For generations, my family has lived, worked, and served in Campbell County. I mean, I was born in a house next to the railroad tracks, 10 blocks up the street from Newport on
Wow.
the Levee. So I
Wow.
take a lot of pride in what I do because I've seen how the levee has been a catalyst for positive change within our community and within the Northern Kentucky region. I mean, you're seeing it right now as we go through our redevelopment, all the development that's happening around us. So it's really exciting. I take a lot of pride in one being part of that positive change within our community because this place is so important to me and so important to my family. And also, I love people. I love community, and I think that's why this last year has been so hard for our team. We have a fantastic team that works like crazy to make this place awesome and to build this place back up to where it needs to be. But we love people. It's not lost on us. It's not
Right.
lost on me that I work in a place where most people go to have fun, right? So when I'm in my office and I'm working on an Excel sheet or working on a project or trying to figure out budgets or utilities and I'm swamped and I need a break, I can go pet a shark, right?
Right.
I can take a break and go walk through GameWorks and do Papa Shot if I want to.
Right.
I can go down and take a half an hour and go bowling.
That's
I
kind
can
of
wait till
awesome.
the day. It is awesome,
Yeah.
and I think our team does a really good job of reminding ourselves every day that, you know, people come here to enjoy themselves. So any chance that we've got to make a good first impression or to welcome people back, we jump at that.
That's awesome. I love it. Do you have any other people that you would like to mention who have helped kind of guide you and have been like people that you've looked up to in the business world?
I'll tell you, I think Northern Kentucky in general, we're very lucky to be surrounded by incredible business leaders, titans that have worked so hard to build this community.
Mhm.
And the beautiful thing about Northern Kentucky, and I've got a friend and mentor of mine, John Stanton, that told me, I remember being in a leadership program that he put together when he was working for Congressman Jeff Davis's office. And um, one of the key points of that program is we live in a place, if you go to Chicago or if you go to New York City or San Francisco, it's so big.
Yeah.
It's hard to break into those circles of influence. And with Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, there's that opportunity where it's not difficult to join groups and to go to luncheons and to go to speaker series where we have again these, whether it's Garen Colvin with St. Elizabeth. I mean, talk about a freaking rock star in our community during the pandemic. I mean, we're very lucky to have people like that here. I mean, Tom Williams with North American Properties, what he's done for Cincinnati and the Northern Kentucky area, and also all of our elected leaders. I mean, whether it's from the county or city elected and appointed, or our region, and I've been fortunate. So it's not lost on me that how blessed I've been to have an incredible group of mentors. Just yesterday I had an issue that I needed some advice on, and I had a Rolodex of 4 people that I called that called me back immediately. Like,
I
these are
love
folks
that.
that are super busy. Like, it's not like these are CEOs, these are leaders of organizations that, I shoot a text to, and they call me back and they're like, "Hey, I've got 15 minutes. What do you got going on? What's going on?" Um, I don't know where else you can find that,
Yeah.
or at least I haven't. I've been fortunate enough to, when I worked for Simon, the mentality there, which was great. I signed up for it, was keep your bags packed, right? So for
Mm.
2 years, I went from Indianapolis to Columbus, Ohio, back to Indianapolis, Memphis, Tennessee, and then eventually moved to Durango, Colorado. So I've been to other cities, I've lived in other communities,
Yeah.
and I know how special or how special this community is. Brent Cooper is another one. I mean, talk about the things he's done at the chamber. Troy Grayson, um, you know, Dr. Dorothy Ayer, Bill Butler. I mean, those guys, Tom Banta. I mean, Tom Fromey at the city, and last but not least, I've been lucky to have a really great mom and dad. My dad, if you were to say, who's your hero, or who do you want to be like? I want to be like my dad. I want to be that guy. I want to be, if I could fill his shoes and and be, one day and be a parent, um, to the level that they were, I think I would live a pretty good life.
That's awesome. I love that. And I think you were so right about this area because I'm from the Chicago area and it's just so spread out and like um it it's not like this at all. So I feel like you get all the benefits of like city and small town. And I love how people are so connected here. And I also love that you have, that your dad is like one of the biggest, sources of inspiration. I love that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a great freaking dad, and
That's
I've
awesome.
got an awesome mom, and I've got two parents that would have literally would have done anything for me growing up. And I'm sometimes you forget about that, but I'm very lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So I want to get into a little bit of what the future is going to look like there at Newport on the Levee. And I think, it's a question that I get asked as a realtor a lot, do you know everything that's going on there? So I think people are curious and excited. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of time to talk about the future.
Well, I think it's I'm so fired up. I mean, I can't wait. It's close. Our grand opening is going to be in May. But the redevelopment and the vision behind this is really like Tim Perry, who is our leader at North American Properties. His vision for the property really was broken down into three things. It was open up and create activated spaces, particularly within the gallery building, connect to our community, which I love about his vision,
Mhm.
is really making sure we're connected to our community, both Cincinnati, Newport, and Northern Kentucky, and really make sure that it's easy to get to. Right, we make it easier to access our garage, so it's not difficult to park in the garage. So we've done three major things. So while the pandemic may have slowed redevelopment, it didn't stop us. So in June, we opened the Bridgeview Box Park, which, if you think of, we would say that's a facelift to the property. Everything else we're doing is radical surgery. So when you one of the things that I talked about, making it easier to access the property, we built a new entrance from the valet circle into the garage. That's the first thing. That's open. We're still waiting on some signage to open up the exit there, but the entrance is open, so that is operating. We are on the west side of the gallery building, so the big building that faces the side that faces the aquarium. We're turning that side into glass, so we're going to flood the interior of that building with natural light. We painted the inside, so we've really opened it up, brightened it up, and we're going to put some really cool furniture and also a huge screen so we can activate the inside, because I mean, 2 weeks ago this place was freezing cold and we were under snow, right? So we want to have places that we can activate even when we have poor weather. And then connectivity. We've got an awesome, great facelift to the property of the paint that's gone around the gallery building. We're putting really cool bright chairs and spaces where you can hang out and feel comfortable. Talk
Mhm.
about an elevated experience, both inside and outside. And last but not least, a entrance to the gallery building from the Purple People Bridge. So we're building a bridge to the bridge to
Wow.
increase that connectivity.
Yeah.
So we want to capitalize on our awesome views of the river, our awesome views of Northern Kentucky, and really create a place that's welcoming, both from the Newport and Cincinnati side.
That sounds so fun. I really can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I mean, this place is under construction, and I can't wait for the construction to be complete. I think if you were to walk through the property right now, bear with us. We're so close, but our plaza from the gallery building to the aquarium is getting ripped up.
Mhm.
So we've got barricades up, and there's pathways, and it's just we're so close. We're
Yeah.
finishing this thing strong, and we're so close. And last but not least, I can't believe I almost forgot our aquarium plaza. We're going to have a huge screen above Sweet Dreams Candy Company. So
Wow.
it'll be like Fountain Square or other places in larger cities where you have these screens where
Yeah.
people can sit and relax, and maybe the SC Cincinnati is on in the background, or the Cincinnati Reds, or the Bengals, or the college teams locally that we support.
That's gonna be so
So we're
fun.
excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I want to give you a little chance to do a shout out of maybe some of your favorite places in Newport that you like to go, whether it's like to eat or just a place you like to frequent. What are some of your favorite spots in Newport?
Well, I tell you, I talked about how for generations my family has lived here. So, I, my dad, his first job growing up was at Pompilio's. I love Pompilio's. That's a spot that I love to go to dinner. I love Cookie Jar Bakery, which has been around almost 100 years. Dixie Chili, which has
Mhm.
been around almost 100 years.
Yeah.
Eppert's Meats, which has been around forever. Those local places I really love, but I also love the new spots, right? Baker's Table is a really cool spot that's here. And Mark Ramler locally has done some really cool stuff,
Mhm.
revitalizing Jerry's Jug House. So there's a really cool, like those places to me are like my hometown favorite spots. Now, I got to give a shout out to Skyline. Skyline Chili was just acquired by North American Properties a
Really?
few weeks ago, so they're partners of ours. So
Wow.
Skyline, I love Skyline Chili, but Dixie Chili has a very special place in my heart growing up. So those to me locally are the places that I really really love.
It's funny because coming from Chicago, the chili was like a huge thing that everybody was like, you got to try it.
Yeah,
And I first tried it,
yeah,
I was like, is that cinnamon? You know,
yeah. Right,
but
right,
then you kind of get used to it. And now I love it. But it was weird at first, just coming from not that for chili.
right. So
Um,
those are my just those are my off property favorite places.
yeah,
On property, I love Newport on the Levee. So
yeah.
I've got a if my wife and I are feeling like, hey, what's something we can do tonight? An easy thing for us. We've got the AMC A-list pass where we pay $25 a month and we can go see up to 3 movies a week.
I
Let me tell
forget
you,
about that. I forget
it's
about
really
that. And
awesome.
we need to do that.
Yeah, it's well worth its money,
Mhm.
and it's also really hard to see 3 movies a week. Believe
Right.
me, we've tried, and it's just not. That's a lot of movies in
It
1 week.
is.
So if you use it once every 2 weeks, it's totally worth
Yeah.
its Brothers Bar and Grill and Five Guys and
Mhm.
all of our local businesses that are in the box park. I mean, that's
Mhm.
the other thing with us with connecting to the community. I mean, all of our businesses in the exchange, which is our pop-up market,
Yeah.
and the box park are all local businesses.
Mhm.
Those are all community partners that we've brought in, which will continue to happen with our new space called Trade, which will be an ongoing pop-up shop where we'll be able to partner with local businesses in our community and give them a brick and mortar type presence. So we're
Yeah.
partnerships and community, and we're really lucky to have those. And I think, I have to give a shout out to One NKY with Karen Feynman and Brent Cooper with the Northern Kentucky Chamber and all of the work that those two do along with Triad to really make our region one.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you think of Northern Kentucky, it's Boone, Kenton, and Campbell, and then within those counties, it's for us, it's Newport, Bellevue, Dayton, Fort Thomas, Southgate,
Mhm.
Alexandria, Wilder, all the Highland Heights, all the different cities and municipalities.
Mhm.
I can't say enough the awesome, like how cool in 5 years after this development, all the work that they've done to make us one
Mhm.
powerful force within Kentucky.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that was one thing that I remember from meeting you. It was a couple of years ago and I remember hearing you talk about that you guys are going to be bringing local business owners into the levee, and I thought that was so amazing because especially, and that was even before the pandemic. So now it's even more important to support local businesses and smaller businesses that, maybe are struggling or have struggled this last year. So I
Well,
love that.
yeah, and any business.
That's
I
true.
mean, sometimes when you think local business, I mean, for us, one of those pop-ups that's going to be a permanent tenant at the Levee, and we're building their space out right now, is Little Spoon Bakery and Coffee. So they serve Carabella coffee, which is another, I don't know how I didn't mention them before. I
Yeah.
love Carabella coffee.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. And they sell that at Little Spoon. And Little Spoon, she does a fantastic job. Courtney does an awesome job with what they do there, and they care about the community. I mean, they stepped up and helped serve Carabello and Little Spoon serve coffee to St. Elizabeth nurses over Christmas when the pandemic was in full force and COVID was in full force. So it's that's the stuff that gives me chills when I talk to local businesses and partners that really care deeply enough to do stuff like that. But that doesn't. I don't want to take anything away from Five Guys or
Sure.
the brothers, or they need help just as much as everyone else, and they do a fantastic job, and they're working like crazy to make sure that they can pay their people and take care of their people and pay their bills. And with the announcement of the aquarium, purchasing Kentucky Kingdom, talk about another partner of
Yeah.
the Commonwealth. So
Yeah, that's great. I don't know if this is too big of a question, but this can be my last question. But where do you think that you see yourself or your organization both, like in 5 years?
well, I think one of the most exciting things about North American Properties is they understand what it takes to elevate experiences at uh, a mixed use center. And when I say mixed use, I mean a place that has restaurants, retail, apartments, um, offices, maybe some fitness centers. They know what it takes to make those places feel like community. They understand that people need community. They love people. And during this time within shopping centers trying to reinvent themselves,
Mhm.
um, they know how to do it. They're good at it. They're experts at it. So they're continuing to grow, and that to see where North American Properties will be, particularly the part of their business that deals directly with mixed use centers, is really exciting because they're at the forefront of
Yeah.
what retail and restaurants and what those placemaking will look like. I mean, they dub themselves experience makers. I mean, they make experiences and they elevate those experiences, and people feel comfortable, they feel safe, and they love what they get when they go to a North American property. So we recently, within the last probably 60 or 90 days, North American Properties purchased another mixed use center near Charlotte
Oh,
called
wow.
Brookdale. So we're growing. So it's really exciting. Um, uh, Myself, I mean, I tell you what, I'm so focused on this grand opening here in a couple months,
Mhm.
um, because it has felt like, to do a redevelopment is a task in itself, and to try to do that within a pandemic is even more difficult. I'm really looking towards that right now, and just trying to contribute to Northern Kentucky and our community and our neighborhood in any way that I can. I mean, like I said, I love this place, and I love people. So I feel pretty lucky with where I am and who
Mhm.
I'm surrounded with. I mean, again, I know I've said it once during this conversation, but our team is fantastic. Like, they work so hard and they're experts in their field, um, and we're so lucky to have them. And it really makes work fun. It's fun to be here. It's fun to both work on really tough projects, but also to do good work and joke around and have a good time. I mean, again, we get some crazy stuff thrown at us, but we're always reminded that if it gets too stressful, we can go pet a shark or go look at the fish
Yeah.
tank, right? Or go
Yeah.
look at the beautiful Cincinnati skyline.
I know. It never gets old, does it? It
Right.
never gets old. Um, well, I'm like so appreciative of you taking time, because I know that time is very limited for you. And the reason I wanted to talk to you is because your passion for Newport and for the area in general, like really came through even the first time that I met you. And I've kind of followed along, to see what's going on. And I'm just really excited for you. And I'm excited for everything that you're doing that's going to help the community. And I just appreciate your passion. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And how can people, if somebody did want to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Always, I think the easiest way is to email me, Justin.Otto, so JUSTIN.OTTO at newportonthelevee.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And I always reach out. I mean, if I can help, I always want to. And believe me, especially for young professionals, um, I'm about to turn 40, so I'm about to age out of that young professional
Mhm.
age range, which is a little terrifying.
Yeah.
Uh, but but anyone that wants help or advice, or I mean, I can at least connect you with someone that may be smarter than I am, because there's a lot of people that are smarter than me. Um, but I want to thank you for inviting me to talk about things that I'm really passionate about. One, and two, I'm always really excited when I hear people say, "I'm not from here, but I moved here and I really like it."
Mhm.
That's a win for me, right? When you're coming from Chicago, or you're coming from another city and you move here and you're like, I'm moving to Northern Kentucky or
Mhm.
Cincinnati. And then you get here and you're like, this is a pretty awesome place to live. I
Yeah.
mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't think that I've ever felt like that feeling until I moved here that this is home, which, you know, I've lived a lot of places, and this is the first time that I moved somewhere that I was like, this is it. I found it. So I love it. Well, thank you. And we'll make sure that we put all of your, like all of your socials and, all of your contact information out there for everybody to find so that they can follow along too with everything that's happening. And yeah, thanks again. I really appreciate it. Is there anything that I missed that you want to make sure you say before we end it?
I would just say, for everyone that listens to this, get involved, do something. Like,
Mm.
I really push that, whether that's adopting a small area in your community and creating a garden, or volunteering in the Boys and Girls Club, or Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Do something and volunteer to make this small place that we call home better.
I love that. That's perfect. That's a perfect way to end. Okay, well, thank you, Justin. And I just really appreciate you. And I can't wait to follow along on everything that
Great.
happens.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye-bye.